Hello my fellow gamers, welcome back to Comfortable Gaming. Today I'm doing a list of all the Bethesda games on Game Pass, so if you're looking for something new to play on Game Pass, there's a lot of games from Bethesda on Game Pass, some really great games, awesome franchises. Maybe you're looking something to replay or something new, or some games you missed from them that you want to try out, maybe the Fallout series if you never played it, and etc etc. If you're new to the channel, we do everything Game Pass. Like and subscribe, please guys, it helps us a ton, helps me a ton to make more of these videos. And let's just get straight into the video. Next we have Arx Fatalis. This is a PC Game Pass game only. It originally released in 2002 on Microsoft Windows by Arcane Studios and later on in 2003 to Xbox. So why is it not on consoles? I don't know. I guess this game is just not yet been backwards compatible yet. I would love this game to come back and be backwards compatible. This is originally designed by Arcane Studios, the guys who made Dishonored, Prey, and they're the ones that are doing now the big game Redfall. I would like to see a number 2 of this of some sort. This was a great game back in the day, but I guess most people are what selling type of thing, so this is not a very famous game that a lot of people know about, so that's highly doubted. But what I would love to see is a backwards compatible to consoles. So this is something new on this list that a lot of people don't know about. It's a great classic game RPG to play, so check it out on PC Game Pass. It's really worth your try. Now we have The Evil Within on PC and console. This is one of my favorite Bethesda games. I loved Resident Evil 4. It's one of my favorite Resident Evils, maybe my favorite Resident Evil number 4 and number 2. So for me, I felt right at home to survival horror with this game. When this came out, I absolutely loved this game. It gave me such great vibes of old school of Resident Evil, and I cannot praise this game more. I just wish they make a number 3 at some point, and maybe we'll get lucky in some way down in the future. We get an Evil Within 3. Maybe there's some works in it. I don't know. I don't think so, but it's a pity because these games are really, really great. So if you're looking for a great horror game to play and you love Resident Evil, or you're looking for something to scare yourself with, you can't go wrong here. You really can't. It's an epic journey, epic story, especially the first one. I highly recommend Evil Within. Really great survival horror game. And now we have the sequel, Evil Within 2, just as good as the first one. It opens a little bit of more of like a semi-open world, things to explore, this type of thing. So I don't want to spoil what happens in the story so people don't get confused. It's still just as good as the first one. I just feel like maybe the first one, the story gripped me a little bit better, but I guess it's after you finish the first one and the second one, you kind of know what's going on. So again, I don't want to say too much. These games have a really awesome story. It really messes a little bit with your mind to figure things out, and it's just done really well. Like I said, it's a great survival horror. The gameplay is excellent. The horrors there, the being terrified, puzzles, all sorts of great things. If you use the survival horror, like I said, Resident Evil, I'm always going to compare it to Resident Evil because it feels a lot similar to those games the most. And it's a great game. Both of them I really enjoyed. Like I said, I'm just hoping for a third one. So, and the second one offers just better graphics, a little bit more smoother gameplay than the first one, and just another great survival horror game to play. Please make a number 3 Xbox type of thing. Check these games out, guys. If you love horror games, you're not gonna go wrong here. And next up we have a real great classic, Fallout. This is on PC only Game Pass, and if you never played these games back in the day, this is how Fallout started. This is its original thing and type of thing. So it's hard to find a video on Fallout anyway days, so I'm trying to find some gameplay of online and stuff. It's a great classic game to check out. It is PC only, and this is how Fallout started. So if you want to go back and you love playing these little classical games, it's a great game. It's what made Fallout started out, and this is the beginning of Bethesda. So there's some junky and weird things, and it's like I said, it's very old, but it's a great thing to check out. Now we got Fallout 2, which is on PC only as well, and it's very similar to Fallout 1, runs the same, pretty much works the same. I've never played the old school Fallout, so I can't say no and yes if this is a good thing to check out. I'm really keen. As I was making this list, I looked to myself and was like, hey, there's some games I haven't played on this list, and this is definitely one of them. And I'm a person who doesn't bother too much about graphics. I mean, I love shiny new games that look great, of course, but I don't mind playing a great classic game. The graphics don't affect me. It's about the game and how the game plays, and etc etc. That's my main thing when it comes to games. So I'm really keen to check this out. But let's see how my backlog goes. But maybe check it out if you're looking for something new, maybe something you have never touched and like very curious about to try. So yeah, Fallout 2 and Fallout 1 on PC Game Pass only. Next we got another classic from Fallout, Fallout Tactics. This is also PC only Game Pass. And if you play Gears of War Tactics, it's similar in the way of that type of thing as it runs, and as far as I know. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. This is also another Fallout game I haven't played. The first 3 Fallout games I've never played. So Fallout 1, Fallout 2 and Fallout Tactics. And people love these games. There's a friend of mine who's a huge Fallout person and is always recommend play the classics. You like playing classic games, etc., etc. So I'm keen to check this out. I mean, if you're looking for something more strategy-wise, like something Gears of War and type of thing, Fallout Tactics is a great tactical combat game to check out. I just wish these games were a little bit on console. And now we have where my Fallout journey started with Fallout 3. This is on PC and console Game Pass. And I love Fallout 3. It's during the days when I played Oblivion religiously, and then Fallout comes out type of thing in the next couple of years. It was a big thing at the time, and I think still one of the games that holds up. I know it's a bit of an old game graphically, but man, this game's world was so amazing and just so fun. It's one of the best Fallouts in my opinion, and a really, really great game. You can't go wrong here, even if it's a little bit older. If you want to play a good Fallout game and you never played Fallout, and graphics don't bother you too much, other than that, there's some mechanical things, but it is a Bethesda game. But then, man, there's so much to love in this game. It was just really, really epic at its time, and I think it's still an epic journey to try out indeed. Now we got Fallout New Vegas, and this is on PC and console, and this is a fan favorite of the Fallout series. So if most fans of Fallout will tell you play Fallout New Vegas, and I can't go argue with them. It's a great game, no doubt about it, and it's probably the best Fallout. In my opinion, it's still 3. I enjoyed 3 the most, but again, that's just somebody's taste. I don't think 3 is just a better game. I think it's just I enjoyed 3 at the time, and maybe that was my first Fallout game type of thing. So it depends when you played which Fallout type of thing. So both are great games, and New Vegas really offers a awesome twist, awesome parts throughout the game. Just play it. I mean, that's what I gotta say. If you like post-nuclear stuff and all sorts of crazy things like that, then Fallout games are for you. And try New Vegas out. It really is great. It's one of the best Fallouts, arguably the best Fallout you can play. Now we got the most shiniest Fallout 4 on PC and console on Game Pass. It took me a while to get into this game at the beginning. For some reason I couldn't get into the funny things. It's a great looking game for Fallout, so if you're jumping from 3 to New Vegas and then you come to this, it's an epic open world. The settlement thing, I really enjoyed building your settlement, but it does draw out a little bit type of thing. So there's a few things that I feel like the old ones just felt a little bit better in some things, but maybe it's just my nostalgia kicking in. There's nothing wrong with Fallout 4, and it's still a really, really fun Fallout game, and I also highly recommend play Fallout 4. It's great. It really is. Do I prefer the older ones? But like I said, it might be my nostalgia thing. There's some people who probably love Fallout 4 the most, and maybe their first Fallout game they played. So you can't go wrong with Fallout 4. There's a lot of things. It's a big game to play. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of quests, a lot of exploration if you like that sort of thing. It's a great game, no doubt about it. Up next is Fallout 76 on PC and console, and this is like an MMO online Fallout game. It started very ambitiously. They said they were going to do all these great things, and the game flopped at the beginning, and it left a sore taste in a lot of people's mouths the way it was done. I'm happy to say that it's gotten better. I don't play it, but I know from people who play it, it's gotten better. And if you're a Fallout fan, and I'm sure there's a lot of Fallout fans still playing this game, there's things to enjoy and things to do. It's not the worst thing you can play, but out of all the Fallout games, if you haven't played any of them, I suggest playing the single player ones. Still a lot to love here. If you're looking online, maybe jump with some friends and experience Fallout type of thing. But I recommend it, but there's better Fallout games to play. Unless you want the online experience, then play Fallout 76. Now we have Wolfenstein, New Order, PC and console. And these are one of my favorite games that Bethesda owns. I just love Wolfenstein. BJ Blazkowicz's story. Who doesn't like killing Nazis and things? It's done really well. It's a great game. There's great combat. You know, people say, oh, FPS needs to be online games, and that's where they should be. And this is just proves, Wolfenstein proves yet again that how a great FPS can be a single player game. And that's what I love about Wolfenstein. Great story, just a great fun game to do each mission. I absolutely loved it. I love the story of the first one. I just loved every minute of this game. And it's one of the coolest games and ideas I've always loved about Wolfenstein. And that it's on Game Pass is just extra. There's so many great Bethesda games to check out, and you're not gonna go wrong with Wolfenstein, believe me. And if you're looking for something to wreak havoc and kill Nazis, then Wolfenstein is just the perfect game for you type of thing. I love Wolfenstein, highly recommend it. Check it out on Game Pass. And now we have Wolfenstein Old Blood, PC and console. This was an expansion, but it is a standalone expansion, so you can play it. It's like zombie Nazis again and type of thing. So if you played Call of Duty Black Ops, it's not like that, but I think that's the first thing people comes to mind is Call of Duty zombies type of thing, but it's not. And it's a great fun story. It's a very another great Wolfenstein adventure that I loved as well and enjoyed. Really enjoyable, the New Order and then All Blood afterwards. I really enjoyed both parts of the game. Really epic. Again, really good story and just delivers a great single player FPS game to enjoy. So check All Blood out as well if you finish New Order. Now we have Wolfenstein New Colossus, PC and console. This is the sequel to Wolfenstein New Order. And it sets you again fighting against Nazis. Apparently they won, and I think he said in the 80s and things like that. And take off story of BJ Blazkowicz again. I think the story is a little bit more about his team and characters more this time around. And it's just another great story, another great epic journey that I enjoyed every minute of it. I just love these games. They're so simple, they stand what they need to be. It's a great single player FPS, great combat, great shooting, really good story to draw you in, to feel for the characters, for the whole story that's going on. And it's a crazy game. There's some crazy things that happen always in Wolfenstein, which I love. So again, highly recommend all the Wolfenstein games I said so far. Check them out. Play them if you haven't played them. They're on Game Pass and they really are worth your try if you haven't played them, or if you feel like replaying some good shooter, you can't go wrong here. Now we have Wolfenstein Youngblood on PC and console, and this was like a co-op online type of game set in the Wolfenstein universe as you play BJ Blazkowicz's daughter and one of the other characters. I can't remember the name right now. And the idea was great. I love Wolfenstein. I played it. There's things to enjoy about it, but I don't recommend this game too highly. Honestly, unfortunately, it wasn't that good. I think the idea was great. I loved about it that you're playing like daughters or sons or whatever way of the characters and stuff as the journey continues of Wolfenstein, which I loved. But there's just some things that I enjoyed about this game, and a lot of it was just like, it was very average compared to the other games, and even to gameplay wise, even though it was really epic and fun in gameplay with a lot of things. So in all honesty, it's a good game, but of the Wolfenstein games, don't start with this one, obviously, or if you're just looking for a co-op experience, something to play, then sure. Now we have Doom Slayer's Collection on PC and console. So you got Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3, and Doom 2016. These games are just awesome. Doom, the original classic Dooms were always fun, that of them back in the day. Doom 2, and then obviously with Doom 3 being more of emphasized as a horror game, which it was quite a scary game. I think Doom 3, and it was a little bit more horror than actiony, so it was a very enigma to most people, that game, but I love Doom 3. And then Doom 2016 was just such a great game. So there's a lot to enjoy with the Doom collection of games on Game Pass, and one of my favorite shooters of all time is Doom. I love Doom. And like I said, with Wolfenstein, single player FPS can be such a great game, and Doom offers that. Doom N64 on PC and console. Now this is one Doom I've not played. It's a great classic. So the thing is with these Doom games, Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom N64, they are very old games. So they feel very old in shooting wise mechanics. So do understand that if you want to try these games out if you never played them. But there's fun to be had here for sure. I do recommend it, but again, it's quite dated gameplay type of thing. But again, it still offers that crazy over-the-top feel with just a classic feel to it. The N64 Doom was very well recognized back in the day. A lot of N64 games are very famous and very well known, and now that's been released on everything, which is really awesome. So there's still that Doom feel and craziness, and just it's a fun game, no doubt about it. Just I suggest playing the newer ones, but if you want to play something classic and fun, you're not gonna go wrong here either way. And now we have Doom Eternal on PC and console. This game I absolutely loved. When it came out, the sequel, I said, how can they improve from 2016's Doom, which was already epic? And they did that. Added a little bit more story, more gameplay, more crazy guns, more upgrades. It felt so right. The boss fights, the expansions were so good. Ancient Gods. They are not on Game Pass, unfortunately, but guys, play Doom Eternal. It's really, really that good. And I think this is the best FPS game on Game Pass by far, and one of the best FPS games in the last decade or so. It's a great game. Highly recommend. I don't want to talk about too much about it. Install it, play it. Doom Eternal will not disappoint you. And now we come to one of my favorite franchises, The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind on PC and console. This is one of my favorite franchises from Bethesda and one of my favorite franchises in gaming. There was just something when you put it up, Morrowind, for the first time back in the day, or Oblivion or Skyrim, whichever one you played first. And come on, Bethesda, stop re-releasing Skyrim. This is one thing you will sell a lot of, I'm telling you. And that is just, this game needs a remaster, a remake, more than any game on this list. Please remake Morrowind. It's a great game to this day. It's a bit janky and old, obviously. It's a very old RPG, but man, there's a lot to love here. To lore, to the builds you can do. It's just one of the best RPGs in the early 2000s by far. And it definitely is begging for a remake. Check it out if you haven't played Morrowind. And now we come to Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, PC and console. One of my favorite games of all time. I know this is a big nostalgia thing. This was my jam when I was a kid. I love Oblivion, and in my opinion, the best Elder Scrolls game. Not just because of nostalgia, this game was so good. Skyrim is great, I love Skyrim, but I prefer this. And even though I play Skyrim all the time as well. So check Oblivion out. If you never played it, you love Skyrim, you're not gonna go wrong here. I know it feels a little bit old, people look for potato fetus, but this open world here and this stories in Oblivion was absolutely amazing. One of the best RPGs, and they changed a lot of the industry, and great expansions on this game to Shivering Isles and stuff. There's just so much to love in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. If you never played it, I know it's old now, but like I said, same as Morrowind, this is also really in need of a remake. And it's a great game that I would love to see remake. But as it is now, it's still a great game to check out and play. Check Oblivion out. I know I can talk about this game forever, but try it out if you never tried it. Now we come to Skyrim. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, PC and console. And man, I love Skyrim. And it's been re-released I don't know how many times, and now they're done so many versions, and within good reason. This is a game you can still jump into and have so much fun. Endless hours, do a completely different playthrough to this. And that's why these games are so popular, and why are we waiting this long for Elder Scrolls 6? I know everybody's thinking the same way I'm thinking, and we just keep getting these Skyrim remasters. I love Skyrim. I know I prefer Oblivion because that was my favorite, but man, I love every minute of Skyrim, and I always end up every year going back and doing a new build and playing it again. These games are just so replayable. Play Skyrim if you haven't played it. This is the best time when it's on Game Pass, believe me. And now we come to ESO, The Elder Scrolls Online on PC and console. This game comes with the original and plus the Morrowind expansion, plus the Morrowind character, Warden character. So that comes on Game Pass. The rest of the expansions you have to purchase or pay for the ESO subscription to play it, or buy the expansions, etc. I love ESO. If you love the Elder Scrolls, you love these games. You just want to play them and explore more of the lore, explore the world. This is the best MMO with solo play and story. So you can jump to any chapter whenever you want at any level and experience all the stories, all the world around, explore. It's very user-friendly for new players, and I do recommend it as a new player. If you love Elder Scrolls games and you're still waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 and you're a little bit getting tired of Skyrim, I always recommend this game. I play it now and then. I think I'm a chapter behind. I need to play the latest chapter, but I take my time with the game. So it's not a game you have to play like an MMO all the time. Play it at your own pace, enjoy it. And you can play it solo the whole game. And like I said, the best side quests and stories in any MMO. They're so interesting, they're well dialogued, and just a great experience. Elder Scrolls Online, you're not gonna go wrong. Check it out, play it. And next we have Dishonored on PC and console. And as I go through this list, I just love Bethesda games. They have so many great games, especially now that all of these games are on Game Pass. And Dishonored's one of them. I love the art style. I love how you approach every mission, how you can stealth kill completely differently. Each main target, each way, two different ways you can play it. You can go loud, you can go quiet. It's a great stealth game. And I'm a person who's not a huge fan of stealth games. This game I absolutely love. I played it first time on PC when it came out, and to this day I recommend it. Play Dishonored, guys. If you haven't played it and you love stealth games, really, really great games from Arcane Studios, and they really don't disappoint. Dishonored 2 PC and console, and this is a sequel to Dishonored 1 as you take Corvo Tano's story to the next chapter, except this time around you can play with her daughter as well, which is a really awesome part of the game. You can choose who you want to play at the beginning, and it just continues off of what great about Dishonored 1 and just does it really well in Dishonored 2. Both games are really done well, and like I said, I highly recommend these games. And like I said, there's so many great Bethesda games on Game Pass, and Dishonored, if you haven't played, don't miss out on these games while you have Game Pass. Check them out if you haven't played it yet. Really, really highly recommended games from Arcane Studios. Next up, we have Prey on PC and console, and this is another game that just deserves a circle. It's a very unique idea of a game. It's strange at its times. It's a very interesting game. I really enjoyed Prey. It was something I've never played, something that felt a little different. Similar with a lot of things, but a lot of interesting. It was a big game at the time, and I would love to see a sequel for this game at some point. Prey is a great game to check out. Great game to play. I haven't played this in a while, and now as I've done this list for you guys to play on the Game Pass, I might reinstall this and just I'm having vague memories about this game. I know I really enjoyed it, and I want to come back to Prey and maybe play it again. So if you haven't played Prey, I do recommend it 100%, and I'm also interested to coming back and playing the game. So another great one on the list. And now we come to Rage on console only. One of the best games. When I played it back in the day, I really loved Rage, loved its story, loved its craziness. It has a mixture of like a bit of Doom, a bit of Fallout in it, but in like a desert Mad Max type of style craziness in games. So feels like Quake, feels like Doom, feels like Fallout a little bit in some ways, not really. A really great game. You know, Rage, I think a lot of people overlook Rage. It's a really great shooter as well. I mean, Bethesda they have Quake, they have Doom, they have Wolfenstein and Rage as shooters, and all of these are really one of the best FPS shooters out there to play, that are single player games, that are not your online Call of Duties, Battlefield, etc, etc. So I always recommend to play these games, and Rage just offers this craziness again in a little bit of a different twist. Try Rage out, you might really like it. And now we have Rage 2 on PC and console. It took a while, but we finally got a sequel to Rage. I was very happy when this came out, and I loved it. You know, it wasn't the best game out there, obviously, but damn man, there was a lot to love about Rage 2. And I loved a lot about the craziness. It felt like Doom, it felt like Borderlands, it felt a little bit like Fallout. There was a lot to love here, and the car races remind me of the Mad Max game. It's like a mixture of a lot of great things from different games, and it's a great game to check out. If you haven't played Rage, I think a lot of people sleep on Rage who haven't played it, because they look at all the other titles that Bethesda has, and I think Rage is one of those in their studio that people kind of overlook. But man, it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun game. Check Rage out if you haven't. I know a lot of people don't talk about these games enough. They do deserve the recognition because they are really good games. And at last we have Quake on PC and console. I remember the first time landing Quake with my family, my brothers, my friends. That was the first things I remember of early gaming. On old PCs we used to land Quake and play against each other. It always brings a great nostalgia to me, and it's one franchise that, again, is another one on here that really is begging to be brought back to life or somewhat being remastered. So there's a lot of Bethesda games that I would love to see remasters or new versions of them, new sequels, or just new games and all. Quake is a lot of fun. It's Doom just in its own weird, different way, and it's a game I've never forgotten, and I think it deserves to be remade and stuff. But I don't know. But if you never played Quake, hey, it's a really cool way to check things out. It's like a different version of Doom in a way. Not really, but it's crazy and it's epic. I love Quake, but if you haven't played it back in the day, then this must just feel like an old weird game type of thing. But the multiplayer you can find still with friends, like I said, I was talking when we land the first time around, is a lot of fun, and it is crossplay on everything, which is a lot of fun. So yeah. Thank you guys again for watching this video. It's been a long one. It was a really fun list to do on all these Bethesda games. Makes you excited when the Activision deal goes through, how many games are going to be on Game Pass as well from them. So thank you again, guys, for watching. Like and subscribe. It really helps me on the channel. And I'll see you guys all in the next one.